In this video, we'll be solving a quadratic-like equation. An equation is quadratic in form if it can be written as AU squared plus BU plus C equals 0. Now, to look at an equation and see if it's quadratic in form, you want to look at the highest power and see if it's 2 times as much as the next highest power. So the problem that we're going to be solving is 18x to the 4th power minus 29x to the 2nd power plus 3 is equal to 0. And we can see that this highest power, 4, is 2 times as much as this next highest power. So this is quadratic in form. Now we could do U substitution. What I'm going to do is a rewrite. And I'm going to write this as x squared squared. So I have 18x squared squared minus 29x squared, and I'm going to put that in parentheses, and you'll see why in a minute, and then plus 3 is equal to 0. Now what we have then is this factor right here, this x squared factor that I have in parentheses, that is my u. So this is 18u squared minus 29u plus 3. So I can solve this with the quadratic formula. Normally for this equation I would say u equals, and then my formula. But here I'm going to say x squared is equal to. Because whatever is squared, whatever this thing that's circled is, that's what's going to be over here. So our formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We can see that a is 18, b is negative 29, and c is 3. So now I'll just sub in these values for a, b, and c into my formula, remembering that it's x squared equal to this. So I have negative, b is a negative 29, plus or minus square root of b squared, so I need negative 29 squared is 841 minus 4 times a, which is 18, times c, which is 3, and that's all over 2 times a, which is 18. So x squared equals negative negative is a positive, so 29 plus or minus square root of, I need to do this multiplication first, so I'll just copy 841, and it'll be minus 216 over 36. And now I can subtract here, so x squared is equal to 29 plus or minus square root of 625 over 36. Now we know the square root of 625 is 25, so I have x squared is equal to 29 plus or minus 25 over 36. Let's get our two solutions first. I have x squared is equal to 29 plus 25 is 54 over 36. And then x squared equals 29 minus 25 is 4 over 36. Now we need to square root both sides. The square root of a square will just give me x on the left side. Remember, the square root property says whenever you square root both sides, you have to remember plus or minus. And so I'm going to separate this into two separate radicals, square root of 54 over the square root of 36. I'll go ahead and finish this one. X is equal to plus or minus. The square root of 54 is the square root of 9 times the square root of 6. And then in the bottom, the square root of 36 is 6. This is plus or minus. Square root of 9 is 3, root 6 over 6. And then 3 over 6 is the same as 1/2. So I have x is equal to plus or minus root 6 over 2. So that's two of my solutions. Come back up here and do this one. Square root both sides. So x is equal to square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 36 is 6. And I have to do plus or minus. 2 over 6 is the same as 1/3. So x is equal to plus or minus 1/3. So I have four solutions, and we know that when we have a fourth degree equation, we should have at most four solutions. So these are my four solutions.